Hi guys, you may have already seen this, but there is no formal chat tonight. Unfortunately, I've got a family emergency that I can't get out of. So you should see our online unit task sheet here. And to see what we're doing for chat tonight instead of a formal chat, please click here to complete this assignment. I've already got it open. Right, so here we are. This is a writing exercise focusing on examples from last year's AP exam, or 2 years ago, about the Mexican-American War. And that's what you guys read about this week with Manifest Destiny. We'll cover some key topics and some main ideas next chat class. But we're going to be pretty independent tonight with analyzing some essays, so I guess it's, not too terrible. Directions. Watch this video, so you should already have clicked here. You need to turn it in by 11 o'clock tonight by clicking the blue share button right under there and sharing it with cekimmick@fcpsschools.net. Please make sure you rename it properly as well. So you basically are going to be reading a prompt and then grading several examples. And I've already done the first one for you, but let's first break down the prompt. Evaluate the extent to which the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848, marked a turning point in the debate over slavery in the United States, analyzing what changed and what stayed the same from the period before the war to the period after it. So here is a turning point question. We call this periodization question. In other words, if we're going to rephrase this question, how much did the Mexican-American War cause a change in the debate over slavery? So you can think of, well, was there a lot of change? Was this a really important event that changed the debate over slavery? Not so much, because it's always been an important issue, or kind of. Maybe heightened the stakes surrounding the slavery debate. You need to address in your evidence both before and after it. You see the chart below, and there are 4 different examples. I already done the first one for you. So what's important is that you click the link there to see the sample essay, right? And you want to read it. Most LEQs are 2 pages, maybe 3. So they tend to be shorter than the actual DBQ essay. Then you want to fill in the chart. So type in the essay's thesis. So here, you just type it in. The Mexican-American War marked a turning point in the debate over slavery as there became a shift from stable free states in the north and slave states to the south before 1846 to disagreements about debating how to incorporate slavery into the acquired territories that led to the Civil War after 1848. Now, you may say that's a really good thesis, but when you actually go to grade it, and I'll talk about the rubric in a moment, it's not going to earn the thesis point because it doesn't say how much. They just repeat the prompt saying that it marked a turning point, not taking a clear position. There's no modifier that says how much. So they're missing a word and they can't get a point, right? And that kind of stinks, but really also goes to emphasize that you got to make sure you have it. Then as you're reading the essay, all you have to do is list evidence that is evidence they used before the war and evidence that happens after the war. It may be a little bit unbalanced, and that's fine, but you want to be thinking about, well, how much and how well do they use that evidence to support it? If they're just listing things like, oh, the New Jersey and Virginia compromises by Camel legislature, the Missouri Compromise of 1820, if they're just listing it, you're not going to give them the points. If they're explaining it, then you can. At the very end, you're going to type in if there is a synthesis attempt. At the very end, you want to grade it. And you're going to do that according to the rubric. And you're going to click there to open up the rubric. So as you're grading the essay, you want to read the rubric and see how well they match up. Notice I have some identifiers about what things they got to have. So the thesis says, response to the prompt with a historically defensible claim that establishes the line of reasoning. So think about it. Do they have a modifier? Do they say, I'm going to add this in, do they say, answer how much? The answer how much? Do they respond to all parts of the prompt? And do they have a line of reasoning, or do they have categories in which they're going to prove their argument? The first This example one does have a line of argument they're clearly going to talk about, and you clearly do see the change before and after. But there is no modifier, so it cannot earn the point. Contextualization we've been talking about is the broader context relevant to the prompt. To earn this point, they have to relate the prompt to the broader events, developments, or processes. So this cannot be a passing reference. If you think about it, there's really three things you need to do, or a good contextualization goes through these three things. They identify the broader concept. So if you think back to the DBQ on the American Revolution, after the 7 Years' War, there's this period of salutary neglect, right? And that ends. And then they provide evidence, they expand, they give a little bit more detail as to what that is, and then they connect the broader concept to the topic of the essay. So you need to connect whatever you're going to talk about. Maybe for this idea could be manifest destiny, or another idea for contextualization that would be good in this essay would be the Second Great Awakening, right, and all of our reform movements, because that's also happening during this time period. Connect that to the prompt. The next 2 points are for evidence. Are they providing specific examples of evidence? For the first point, they need at least 3. Remember, you can't just list it. They have to be explained. For 2 points, are they really supporting an argument in response to the prompt using specific and relevant examples? Here, you kind of need about 6 good pieces of evidence, meaning that it's fully explained and it supports an argument. For reasoning, this is the 5th point on the prompt, is does the student use, or does the essay use, historical reasoning to frame or structure an argument that addresses the prompt, right? And so for this essay, we're just looking at periodization because that's the type of essay that it is. It's asking about a turning point. So do they use language and analysis that demonstrates both before and after the event in question? And they also need to address what's similar and what's different. So here, you want to see language that really demonstrates that. And you can see that we're using language saying this continues to remain the same or not. I write this down here at the end. Texas was done so differently as California was admitted free in Texas as a slaveholding state. The new westward territories upset the balance of free and slave power. Thus, Northern Republicans began calling for all territories to be admitted as free, which would upset the South. So there we are seeing language that demonstrates that. Sorry, back to the rubric. The last part is complex understanding. The easiest way to get it is synthesis. Do they explain relevant and insightful connections within and across time periods? So here you kind of need to state the comparison, provide evidence to support that comparison, and then explain the connection between the 2 time periods. So if we're thinking about what caused this debate, another example you could use would be to think backwards previously about what really caused a turning point in the American Revolution, right? We usually argue the Battle of Saratoga, so that's my comparison. I would want to explain why Saratoga was such a game changer in the American Revolution, and then explain and connect those 2 time periods. If you think they do that, then you want to give them that point. So you want to grade it, and you want to reflect on why the essay did or did not earn the points. So this essay, 3D, has a lot of good evidence to support both before and after, which is why they get 2 points. However, the thesis doesn't really have a modifier, and therefore it didn't earn the thesis point. Their use of historical thinking skill was adequate, but it's really simple, so they kind of just barely scrape through that point. And there is no attempted synthesis. So you guys just need to complete the chart. If you have any questions, please email me. There is a question down at the bottom about writing a paragraph reflecting just overall on the 4 essays that you've read. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope you have a great day, and don't forget your assignments for the rest of the week are due on Saturday by 11:59 p.m. All right, have a good day.